Hearing to order. It is Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 at 6:45 PM. Melissa, could you do a roll call, please?
Keller.
Here.
Hedges.
Here.
Tice.
Here.
Pliska.
Here.
Hallinan.
Here.
Moats.
Here.
Lukasak.
Here.
Duval.
Here.
Okay, thank you very much. Melissa, could you please read the purpose of the public hearing?
Circleville City Council will hold a public hearing Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 at 6:45 PM in council chambers located in the City Hall Building, 127 South Court Street, second floor, Circleville, Ohio, 43113. The public hearing will be to hear the following request. 3 text amendments to Chapter 1129, Table 2 of the official zoning code of the City of Circleville are also proposed.
Melissa, have we notified the people affected, the media, and the appropriate places for this public hearing?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'd like to have Hannah Wynn come to the podium.
Keep her busy this evening.
Hannah has some proposed zoning code amendments, so Hannah, go right ahead. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to clarify real quick, there were 3 text amendments that were a part of the rezoning that you just heard in the previous public hearing. These are separate from that. These are amendments requested by myself, just some tweaks to the zoning code here. I've done this a few times, so I've got another batch for you all. So I'm just going to run through these fairly quickly because they're pretty minor changes. So you can stop me if you have any questions. But the first amendment is to change the minimum parking space dimensions from 9 by 23 to 10 by 20. 10 by 20 is what it used to be. We changed it to 9 by 23 when we updated our zoning code in 2022. I think the idea was that we have a lot of pickup trucks with being a more rural community, might need a longer parking space. But since then, the BZA has issued a few variances on the parking dimensions to allow for the 10 by 20, which is pretty standard. So just looking at going back to that to avoid future variances. Second one, we recently made shipping containers prohibited just across all districts, since realized that they may make sense in the industrial IE district and community service CS district. So I was proposing to just add that back in as permitted in those districts. The Planning and Zoning Commission did make a change to this. They wanted it to be a conditional use in those districts. So with their change to that, if anyone is wanting to use a shipping container as like a storage building and accessory structure on their property, they would have to go through the Board of Zoning Appeals to get a conditional use permit to do so, but it would be an option in those districts. Amendment 3, there's kind of multiple parts to this. It is just kind of updating our requirements for applications, going from requiring multiple paper copies to just one electronic copy, just kind of going paperless and updating that. So that's a bulk of this, just kind of writing out all of those sections. The fourth one is making a school impact study as a maybe requirement for PUD and PMDs. That's the plan unit development and plan mixed unit development. We've seen it with a lot of the larger developments coming in. The school is interested in how they're going to impact them. So we're just going to write that into the code where if it's, a significant size development, we can ask them to do that school impact study. And then the last thing would just be to establish a tiny home community definition and make that a permitted use in the MHR, manufactured home residential district. Tiny homes have kind of gained popularity in the past decade or so. We've had some interest in maybe a tiny home village or a tiny home community. So we considered adding that in as a permitted use in the MHR district, which is where you can have mobile home parks, manufactured home parks. So a tiny home village would kind of fit into that district. So those are all of my proposed amendments.
Did zoning have a recommendation?
Yes, they passed everything as written with the change to make the shipping containers a conditional use. So,
Did
and that
they
was
vote unanimously?
yes.
That's why I was just trying to
Yep.
get this matter of record.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Is there anything I can clarify on that? I know it kind of ran through it quickly.
So all the information has been sent out ahead of time. And again, it will be up for conversation in committee, but I want to see if there's any public that'd like to speak. Would anybody from the public like to address the zoning code amendments in the public hearing tonight? As a reminder, the legislation for these amendments will go to the judicial committee. Mr. Klitzka chairs that committee, and he'll work with Hannah to set up the timing for that, to hear those amendments. At that time, we will not take public comment. It will be a conversation within the committee and the administration around the proposed changes. So that'll be the next steps. Again, any other chance for public comment? Hearing none, Hannah, thank you very much. I entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing. So moved by Tom Duval, seconded by John Modes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is closed at 6:51 PM. City council will start at 7 PM. Thank you very much.